Hey there everyone, Mike coming at you here again from Badlands Paintball. Today we're going to be doing a tech video actually on my own personal marker, the Empire Axe. Now anybody out there who has an Empire Axe or a Mini even, you're going to want to pay attention to this video because I'm going to show you how to take out your bolt, clean out all the internal O-rings in there. I'll show you how to gain access to your detents as well as your brake beam eyes. So if you do have either one of those markers, this video is definitely going to be a great help for you. Now before you ever get started teching any gun, I always say you're going to want to have your manual on you. You definitely want to have spare Allen keys and O-rings as well as grease and paper towel to clean out and then re-grease all of your internals. So you know what, let's dive on in here and see what it's like to tech the Empire Axe. Alright everyone, so the Empire Axe is actually really easy to tech, and to get started I always remove the barrel. And now you know what, you don't technically speaking have to remove the barrel, but it'll make everything a little bit lower profile, a lot easier to work on, right? So we'll remove that barrel first right off the bat. Now, when it comes to teching, I usually start by cleaning off my detents. So the detents are what actually holds the ball in place in the breech, and you can gain access to your detents with this Allen key here on either side of your marker. So I'm going to get my small Allen key and I will stick it right in there, and you can actually just twist your detent right out. Now your detent is made up of a few parts. You have the actual outer cap here. You have a spring in the middle, which you can perhaps see there. And you will have the actual detent itself. So you're going to want to make sure you wipe off that detent with paper towel. Make sure that there's no dirty paint or old grease or anything on there. And then you can just set it to the side. I will do the same thing on the opposite side here. Twist that detent right out. Want to clean off any paint or grease on that detent as well, and then I can set that to the side too. So that's really easy, gaining access to your detents. Now the other main piece that we're going to have to clean and maintain on the Empire Axe is the actual bolt assembly itself. Now to gain access to the bolt assembly on the axe, it's really easy. You just push this little silver button on the side. You'll twist, pull, twist back the opposite way, and then you can pull the entire assembly out. Now on the Mini, the detents are actually the exact same to remove, and the bolt on the inside is incredibly similar, but to gain access to the bolt in the Mini, there's actually a screw in the bottom that you have to remove, and then you can pull the entire bolt assembly out. Now when you gain access to the bolt assembly, you can see it all here. For starters, you have the spring, which is attached to the bolt itself, okay? Now that spring you want to remove and make sure that it doesn't have any paint or grease or grime on it, okay? And we can put that to the side. Your bolt itself, you're really going to want to make sure that there's no grime or grease on the tip itself here. And if you are getting a lot of wear on the tip, or if it's got any burrs or anything on it, that's actually removable. So you can pop that tip off and slam a new one on there. You do have two O-rings in the rear that you want to make sure are clean and don't have any debris on them, and then you'll re-grease those O-rings as well. Now I do have my grease here with me today. Whenever you're greasing O-rings, you're going to want to make sure you just put a little bit of that grease on your finger, okay, and then you'll slide it across each O-ring. You'll make your O-rings nice and shiny and smooth, and then you wipe off any sort of excess, okay? So you want enough grease to make sure that the O-rings are smooth and shiny, but not so much that you're going to get a lot of gunked up excess grease that will slow your bolt down. So once I know that my bolt is greased and everything's clean, I can actually set that to the side as well. Now you have the rest of your bolt assembly here, and we're just going to do general cleaning and maintenance. You want to make sure there's no excess dirt or grime on the actual stem here, and you have 1, 2, 3 O-rings total that you'll want to grease on that stem. In the rear you have 1, 2, 3 O-rings that you want to grease. Now the only other piece that you may occasionally have to apply some grease to is the actual poppet seal that you can see on the inside inside there. Now I'm not going to take that out right now, but it's actually really easy to gain access to. All you'll want to do is on your velocity adjustment back here, you will twist that all the way out. That cap will actually come right out along with the poppet. You just want to put a little bit of grease on the front of that poppet, and I mean a little bit of grease, and then you can slide everything right back into place. The more common issue with that poppet, rather than needing grease, is that it might be cracked, might have some nicks out of it, so you will want to replace that poppet at that point. But not very often do you have to get right in there. Generally speaking, you only have to re-grease and clean your stem and these rear O-rings, and you'll be good to go in that regard. Now the other piece that we're going to want to clean on the Empire axe that can actually be a little bit difficult to get to is going to be the brake beam eyes, okay? So to gain access to our brake beam eyes, you actually have to remove the top portion of your marker from the bottom half, okay? To do that, there are two screws, one in front of the trigger guard here and one right behind the grip. So I'm going to get my Allen keys and I will twist out both of those screws, and then we can gain access to our eyes from there. Now, when you take off the bottom half of your grip here, it gives you a good opportunity to check out the power tube, the tube that connects your ASA to the rest of the marker. There is an internal O-ring in there that I'll show you that you'll want to make sure is in good condition. And then you'll be able to, for example, further adjust your trigger from the inside as well too. You need to actually twist off your grip just to gain access to the Allen key, which adjusts how close to the micro switch your trigger pull will be. So it definitely gives you some extra adjustability as well on that trigger. So once I pull out that other screw here, so the two silver screws, I can set those aside somewhere that will be safe, and now I can actually pull off the top half from the bottom half of my marker. Now that, I don't know if you guys will be able to see this, but right behind the back of the trigger, right here, there's that extra Allen key that I was talking about, and that will adjust the connection to the micro switch, okay? So you want to adjust that Allen key right there if you want to adjust where that trigger pull contacts that micro switch, okay? Now that Allen key only needs minor adjustments. If you adjust it too far, your trigger will be in constant contact with the micro switch, and if you adjust it too far out, you'll go through a full trigger pull without hitting the micro switch at all. So make sure when you're adjusting that you don't get too crazy with it, okay? So I can actually set this entirely to this side. You can see here, this is the top half of the tube that connects your ASA to the rest of your marker. Now that Allen key, or that O-ring right there, is one that you'll want to make sure is in good condition, okay? If it's not in good condition, swap it out and throw another one in there. Now, to gain access to our detents, we're actually going to have to pull off this entire plate here, which is covering up our board, okay? Now, to pull off that plate, I will first have to remove this tube here. That just twists right off. I can set that to the side. And we're also going to have to remove our solenoid. Now before twisting off the solenoid, you just have to disconnect it from the rest of the board. You can do that by just gently pulling on the cord there, and your little switch will come right out. Now I can twist off that noid altogether. Noid's off, I can set it to the side. Now, you may be able to see I have a few main screws that I'm going to have to remove to get this plate off. You've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 screws in total that we're going to have to remove. So let's get at it. Alright guys, so once I remove this final screw here and set it to the side with all my other ones, I will have access to the rest of the board. And connected directly to that board are going to be your eyes, okay? So I'm going to remove that final screw. Now I'm going to want to very gently pull up and off this plate which is covering my board. Just like so. Now guys, actually on a quick side note, what I did forget to show you, when you take off the bottom half of your Empire axe, that little button that you press to remove your bolt is spring loaded, okay? So make sure that you keep your eye on that spring and on that button so they don't pop out and go flying anywhere. So just a quick side note there, as I was taking this apart, I'm going, oh my goodness, forgot to show you guys that. So make sure you keep an eye on that spring, okay, so it doesn't end up going anywhere. So now we can see that we've got our circuit board right here. If I just gently pull up on that circuit board, you'll see it pops right out, okay? I can set the rest of that to the side, and bam. Now I've actually got access to her eyes. So one eye is right there, and one eye is on the other side. You're gonna wanna wipe off and make sure that there's no paint or grease or grime or anything on those eyes. And then you'll actually wanna run a paper towel or a swab right down the inside of your breech, just to make sure there's no paint in there anymore, and to make sure there's no paint in the holes of your eyes anymore. Now, the only other piece that you may have to replace on your Empire axe is this right here. There's a giant internal O-ring of sorts, you could call it, to attach, that's where your solenoid actually attaches. That piece is replaceable, and you do have a spare one in the Empire parts kits, okay? So make sure that you swap that out if you're getting any major air leaks. So once I know that my eyes are nice and clean, everything on the board is nice and clean, I can slide it all right back into place again. So the micro switch will actually go near the rear of the gun. Be very gentle with this. You want to make sure that the eyes go back into their original slots again. There we go. So I was nice and gentle there, guys. Rule of thumb, don't force anything, okay? Everything will slide in nice and easily if you're doing it properly. So now I'll take my plate cover here, slide it right back into place. So I've put my plate back on here, and now I can attach each one of my screws again. Alright, so once you have all those screws tightened down, you'll be good to go. You should have a nice flush seal here, no air or anything in between, so you'll be good to go. So now I can attach my solenoid here again. Just screws right back into place. Really easy. And then once it's tightened down, make sure that you reconnect the cord, okay? So it'll just slide right back into its original position there. Push it down into place. Perfect. I'm gonna attach my tube again. Twist that right down into place. Until it's nice and flush. Perfect. And now I can attach the entire top half back down to the bottom half. Now, the one tip that I would give is that you do have your circuit board in here with all of these prongs right on the top. Those prongs are going to line up and insert right into the board on top here. So you'll want to make sure that you slide this in nice and smooth, nice and gentle. It should just attach really, really easy. If you're meeting any sort of resistance, back it off and try it again. So I push it down, perfect, nice and easy on there. So now I can attach my rear screw and the screw right in front of the trigger, and everything will be tightened down again. There's one, and the one screw in the front. So I mean, that's complete disassembly really too, guys. Generally speaking, you're really only gonna normally have to take out your bolt and make sure that's cleaned and greased, and then clean out your detents as well too. So now I can insert each one of the detents. Before you insert each one of the detents, again, just take a look down your breech, make sure that it's nice and clean in there, that you don't have any sort of dirt or grime, and once you know that it's clean, now you can slide those detents back in. They insert really, really easily. One on each side. One. And two. Perfect. Now I've got my nice, clean, and greased rear assembly of my bolt. I can actually slide my bolt right over top of the stem there, and now reattach my spring. Now the spring actually does go onto the bolt in a very specific way. When you slide it on, you push it down, you should hear a little click, and that way you can't actually just pull that spring right back off again. There's a little notch that the spring hooks into there. If you put it on the opposite way, the bigger side, it won't actually click down. So make sure you put in the smaller side first, click it into place, you're good to go. Now I can take that bolt assembly and slide it right back into my marker. Push, twist, and then press your button on the rear here, and you're good to go. So now I can reattach my barrel, and the Empire axe is cleaned, maintained. We should be shooting nice and smooth now. Alright everyone, so that sums up how to tech and maintain your Empire axe. So I've shown you how to remove your bolt assembly, change out all your O-rings, shown you how to get access to your eyes as well as your detents. So with all that information, your axe should now be shooting super smooth. Now if you do need any extra help, please come into any of our 9 locations across Canada. We have a ton of guys that will be more than willing to help you out, give you some extra tech advice. And please follow us on Facebook and Twitter as well, okay? We've got lots of promotions going on, and like I always say, it's a great chance to win some free stuff, so make sure you take advantage of that. And if you like these tech videos, or you want to see more, or you like our review videos, please post up and comment below and follow us on YouTube. The more you let us know what you want to see, the more we can give you, okay? So I hope you enjoyed this video. Get on out there and shoot some people with your Empire axe.